God.
Damn.
Let's go to the NBA.
I got it.
A fight broke out in the second quarter of the Pistons-Timberwolves game after Ron Holland fouled Reid driving to the basket. As the two exchanged words, Donte DiVincenzo stepped between them. Soon all 10 players on the court, multiple coaches. Part of the scrum that spilled over into the crowd. 5 players and 2 coaches were ejected.
It was bound to happen. It just felt like it was coming. And, you just been in enough basketball games to kind of feel this coming. Is unfortunate. They hit you, they hold you, all the stuff that, you want your physical teams to do. But I just thought, it had got to a point where, players were going to take matters into their own hands. And you don't ever want that.
You regret, obviously, where all of it took place. That's not something you ever want to see happen. But, again, I thought our guys stood their ground and defended each other and had each other's back. And those are non-negotiables in our locker room. And I thought our guys did that tonight.
All right. It's chippy. It's that time of the season. Pressure's high. Perk, what was going through your head when that went down?
Yes, I love it. I'm tired of the jersey swaps. I want to see some people ruffling the feathers. And listen, I don't even care about that little pillow fight. I don't want to overreact and say this guy should be suspended, this guy has a history. You know what I do care about is that the Detroit Pistons are back. You know what I do care about is that they're the biggest surprise in this NBA season. Also, on top of that, they have embodied the culture of the Pistons, right? You think about Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, Bill Laimbeer. What was those guys? Yeah. The bad boys Pistons. Yeah. Hard fouling, fighting, scrapping, whatever, you name it, right? You move on to Chauncey Billups, Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace. Those guys were getting your face, instigators, not retaliators. And now we're watching this Detroit Pistons team led by a young superstar in Cade Cunningham that is about their life. Yeah. And I love it. And I love how Bickerstaff addressed that in the post-game interview, saying this is basically the standard. This is our culture, and I love it. It's great for basketball, but it's also great for the Detroit fan base who have been miserable. And the city.
Yeah, they embody the city as well.
Who have been miserable over the past couple years.
Yeah, they're climbing in the rankings,
I'll
too.
deal with Perk in a second. Shannon, go ahead, man. Let you chime in first. Go ahead, Shannon.
Well, I don't know if the commissioner is excited about that. And the one thing you don't want to kind of spilled a little bit into the sidelines, Perk. I think that's the thing that the commissioner is concerned about, is that it getting into the fans and somebody from the fans getting injured in a situation like that. But the Detroit Pistons. And when I heard about the fight, I said, let me see what's going on, because I knew Isaiah Stewart was in it. I mean, Stu Beef, he looking to beef for somebody. He's looking at because he's their enforcer. He's not going to take anything. Ron Holland and DiVincenzo, they had been going back and forth, Perk, and you can see this brewing. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to end the game without a tussle going on. Somebody's going to tussle, because it seemed like every basket seemed like everybody had something to say. Everybody, get your hands off me. My hands ain't on you. Don't touch me. I'm going to touch you. I'm going to do what I want to do. And so it kind of came to a crescendo, and this had to happen. I think cooler heads prevailed. They separated them. I was surprised to see the coaches going at it. JP Bickerstaff, he ended up getting tossed out of the game. Pablo Prigioni, he got tossed out of the game. I'm like, well, damn, the coaches battling like, squabbing like that too. But look, as long as we can keep it, there are no punches thrown. There's, it's big dust up. Nobody wants to lose a large chunk of their salary by throwing a punch. It was a lot of pushing, a lot of wrestling. Everybody knows in a situation like that, Perk, somebody's going to grab them. Hey, don't grab me, don't hold me. Yeah, hey, grab. Hey, I'm going to pretend like I want to do something, but I really don't want to do anything. Y'all grab me and make sure nothing pops off. But look, I didn't really have a whole lot of problem with it. I just think the thing is the commissioner might have a problem with some of it spilling into the stand.
Shannon's right about that part. Here's the part that I want to say to you, Perk. You're not wrong with what you're saying. You're wrong for advertising it. Because when you say what you just said, and you're talking about, and you're reminding the world of the bad boy Pistons, when did all of these rule changes one by one over the years get implemented? When the bad boy Pistons were playing Chicago in the playoffs. Because that level of physicality is exactly what the NBA wanted to get away from. I like it. I believe that there's a place for it. Listen, People need to stop getting free passes. I like the physicality. I like the fervor. I totally 1,000% agree with you with them damn jersey swaps and all this, hugging one another, singing kumbaya with one another. Nah, I want you going at it. I want you disliking one another. I want you elevating and heightening your level of vitriol so you want to go at somebody even more so. The flip side to that, however, is that you don't want to find yourself in a situation where you are publicly talking about, listen, like the bad boy Pistons, represent that. It was 12 technical fouls called yesterday. The most since 2005, 12 technical fouls in one game. If that kind of stuff happens, then you'll see the NBA doing more of what we don't want them to do, which is bringing a heavy hand down upon
Let me get in here.
We don't want that.
Because this brings up something to me. I feel like we can't have it both ways, and this isn't fair to the NBA and the NBA players. Because I remember when we had PK Subban on the show after that USA-Canada, they're fighting. It's so great. NBA players, they make too much money. They don't care. They don't come to play. And now we're seeing the passion. We're seeing the energy. The stakes are high. We're seeing the intensity. And now we don't like it. I'm saying, what do we want?
No one said don't like it. What we're saying is that Gary Bettman and the National Hockey League run their league the way that they do. Rob Manfred and Major League Baseball run their league the way that they run the league. You have the culture in those sports. Do I like it? Black man. We know that black athletes are predominant in the NBA and the NFL. That's not necessarily the case in Major League Baseball and the National Hockey League. So we see the discrepancy. We don't like it. We've spoken about it on many, many occasions in the past. But in the end, if you have a league and a league office that's going to mandate this is what we're going to penalize, I'm saying when you highlight the Detroit Pistons and you remind everybody of the Bad Boys who we love, with two-time champions, one of the great franchises, we all get that, and has been underappreciated as far as I'm concerned on too many occasions over the years. You don't want nobody pushing you around or whatever.
Right.
I'm just simply saying you got to be
I'm just saying, were you not entertained?
Hell yeah, I was entertained. Who's part of the top dogs in the league office?
Joe Dumars.
Okay, part of the bad boys.
Yes.
Right? So this is good for the game, Stephen.
What do you think he's going to do?
We look, huh?
What do you think he's going to do?
Did
you just come on national television on Get Up a little while ago and you said, I really, really hope that nobody gets suspended for 6 or 7 games? Did you say that?
I said, I don't think so.
saying,
I don't want us to overreact to
Yes.
it.
I'm saying, I agree. But you're scared they will. That's my point.
Listen, here's the thing. You know, we could possibly see Detroit and Indiana in the first round.
I'm going to love it.
Why?
Because they're the 4 or 5 right now.
No, why you love it?
Because Detroit can play and Indiana can play.
Not just because of that. They got beef.
Okay.
They had an altercation this season. They don't like one another.
Okay.
So guess what? I'm going to be looking forward to watching that playoff series. I'm not saying go out there and throw punches, but what I'm saying is let's ruffle the feathers a little bit. Let's make the game physical. That's why we've been seeing of late, the refs haven't been calling a lot of fouls. You see a lot of guys complaining. That's the thing that this game is missing. That's what separates overseas from the NBA. And one thing we know about Adam Silver is that he's looking to improve the league. And I think improving the league is letting some of the physicality come back into the league.
I agree with you. I'm just saying be careful about advertising it because that might make the league overreact to something we don't want them to overreact.
But
then we're advertising that they don't show up, they don't care, they don't play, the games are boring, it's all threes. So it's like, go ahead, Shannon.
I don't believe the problem that I have with you two guys that I don't believe those things are mutually exclusive. I don't believe you have to push and shove to be physical. Because I think the thing is, you go back and look at the Warriors and the Cavaliers, that was great basketball. And it wasn't a whole lot of pushing and shoving. Outside of that incident, they played through 3 straight finals. Outside of the Draymond situation, was that not great basketball? Of course it was. Look, I'm old enough to remember the late 70s and the early 80s when the fighting, they're not going back there. No matter how much fans say they want it, the fans didn't want it because the game took off when they cleaned it up. Adam Silver is not gonna like this. He's saying if the ratings have to come back because they're fighting, well, damn the ratings. That's not gonna happen, guys. So we can sit here and wishful think and say, I like this and I like that. They're not. In hockey, that is the culture of hockey. Guys drop before they even puck is dropped, Stevie, that we've seen guys drop their gloves and like just look it out and you see the goalie slide down and say, hey, you want some of this? Yeah, I want some of this too. But this is not conducive in football. This is not conducive in basketball, guys. It's 2 separate issues. Hockey has a culture. Basketball used to have a culture, but it's kind of cleaned it up because the fans said that wasn't what they wanted. I believe Adam Silver, I don't think he's going to go overboard, but I can see a 3 or 4 game suspension for a couple of these guys.
Shannon, no, man.
No.
The game got bigger because it went global. That's why the game got bigger. It had nothing to do with them cleaning up the level of physicality. Fans want to see this. What are y'all? Y'all okay this morning?
Are you okay?
Physicality
Yes,
is
I
one
am.
thing, Perk.
Yes, I am.
Are you okay? What are you watching?
I'm watching. What you mean? What am I watching?
The fact of the matter is that the NBA itself said it. They're on the record saying this stuff, that they needed to veer away from the level of. Listen. Stop trying to confuse it. None of us have a problem with what we saw last night. Okay? You don't need it going into the stands. You certainly don't need that. But guys scuffling with one another, we don't have a problem with that. What I'm saying is, be careful about advertising that's what you want, because that's not what the league wants. And if Detroit is going to live on that, they're going to find themselves getting caught unfairly and unnecessarily for some stuff down the line. That's all I'm saying.
Is it, okay, answer this question. Is it a conversation that's going on right now for as the league somewhat bringing back hand checking on the perimeter?
That is a conversation that's going on. Because a lot of us have complained about it.
Okay, cool. That's physicality.
Is it? Well, that's not that. What are we talking about here? What happened last night?
We're being hypocritical.
Right.
We are.
We're not being hypocritical,
We are.
Molly.
We are.
We're telling you what the league is.
Okay.
We say it. We don't care.
Yes,
But
I don't think we're being hypocritical, Molly.
But haven't we been lamenting that this NBA, all the issues with the NBA this season? It's like you're finally getting what you want.
That's not the league. We're talking about what the league is going to do. He just finished saying a couple of hours ago he's worried
It's just
that the
agree
league
to
doesn't
disagree.
suspend these players for 6 or 7 games.
We're not on the same page. We're not seeing eye to eye on this.
Because
we're
you're
not.
not hearing us.
No, you're not
The
hearing
league.
us.
No.
Because
that's
I believe
your
you can play
lens.
hard without all this stuff. Silly me. I believe you can play hard. I played a physical sport. And I believe you can play hard without all this shoving, with all this other stuff going on. That's just me, silly me. I've never played. Perk, I'm going to take you. You said you don't believe you can play the game physically without all this extracurricular activity. So I'm going to defer to you.
I'm not saying, Shannon, this is what I'm saying. We like the rivalry. We like guys that got beef. We want guys to make hamburgers, man. What is y'all talking about? We looking forward to things
So
like
you like
that.
the Boston Celtics? The Boston Celtics don't play like this. Cleveland doesn't play like this. OKC doesn't play like this.
No, you're a lie when it comes down to OKC. You a damn lie when it comes down to OKC.
Man, they ain't pushing the shoving. Come on,
What?
Perk. That's Detroit. Detroit been doing this.
What? OKC don't play physical? Are you serious?
They play Perk. Perk. There's a difference between playing physical and getting all these technical fouls, shoving and pushing all the time, kind of like what Detroit do.
All right.
Shannon,
How many technical fouls does Isaiah Stewart have?
If you watch Oklahoma City Thunder, they play a physical brand of basketball while keeping their composure. Do you see how many coaches complain on a day-to-day basis about Luke Dortz? They constantly complaining about Luke Dortz.
Are Detroit keeping their composure? Are the Pistons keeping their composure?
No, Shannon, they gonna work through it. What do you mean?
I just want to know. You said the Thunder play a brand of basketball and they keep their composure. Are the Detroit Pistons keeping their composure? It's a simple yes or no.
That don't mean no. Beef Stew is who he is. That don't prove your point.
Okay, let me tell you what the league is going to say. What the league is going to say is that the Knicks versus the Houston Rockets in 1994 was maybe one of the most physical series ever.
Yeah.
It's also the lowest TV ratings. That's what they're going to say. That's all I'm saying.
That doesn't sell. That sells in hockey.
I'm telling you that I got no problems with it.
Okay, Molly.
Okay.
Well, I don't want to hear
serious.
nothing else about this generation being soft.
Neither do I.
Straight up.